Hello everyone, welcome to From the Star Wars Home Video Library. I'm your host Nathan P. Butler. This time we continue our look at some VHS cassettes that include Star Wars material, but aren't Star Wars as a whole, so in essence kind of Star Wars adjacent, or maybe including Star Wars, that entered my collection a long time ago when Matt Fry donated a large part of his Star Wars Home Video collection into mine. They got kind of tucked aside. I forgot about them for a while, and now I've had a chance to actually go through, watch them, and finally record some episodes about them. So, last time we took a look at an item from A&E Home Video, Hollywood, Aliens, and Monsters, which is this thing over here. Well, this time we look at another that you could order directly from A&E back then, which is the Biography episode focused on George Lucas, known as George Lucas Creating an Empire. Another one that if you hunt it down on YouTube, you can watch the entire thing. That is this. Again, order directly from A&E Home Video, therefore no special packaging or anything. So you have Biography, A&E Home Video, Biography, 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 Biography. A little bit of info here. We'll come back to it. Your copyright stuff and everything down there, and then A&E Home Video. What does it say about the series? Because again, this is generic packaging here. They are the men and women who populate our dreams, excite our imaginations. It looks like it says snock us, but it's shock us, but the H is within this white line going down, so you can't really see the leg of the H. They are the men and women who populate our dreams, excite our imaginations, shock us, inspire us, and entertain us. Join hosts Harry Smith, Peter Graves, and Jack Perkins as Biography, capitalized Biography, profiles the most important people of our century and centuries past. Rare footage, new research, and exclusive interviews go beyond the myths to bring their stories to life. The people you thought you knew. The cassette itself, you have a side label here, Biography here at the top, A&E Home Video here. Then you have your product number, your title, and your barcode. Here again, George Lucas Creating an Empire is the name of the episode itself. Biography episodes tended to have their own names like that. Then you have the other label, Biography, George Lucas Creating an Empire, color approximately 100 minutes, VHS Biography, category number, copyright 2001. This actually aired first in January of 2002, but copyright 2001. Then 1996 copyright for the art and design, kind of like we saw on the other one, although the packaging for this one has a 2001 copyright date for the actual box, apparently. Art and design 2001, but here art and design 96, then A&E Home Video down there. As with the other one, it is a side-loading case here, not something you would typically see with professionally produced VHS releases, pre-recorded material. Usually they were loading from the bottom, but here loading from the side. So what is this? It is exactly what it sounds like. It's a biography of Lucas himself. Not necessarily behind the scenes of Star Wars, though that will play a big role in it, but a biography of Lucas. And I will say that as someone who likes historical stuff and teaches history, Biography is one of the best programs when it comes to actually giving you new insights into the biography of whoever it is that they're talking about. Now, the version of this that's on here, this originally aired January 27th of 2002, but during the week after the release of Attack of the Clones in theaters in 2002, they had what's referred to as Star Wars Week on A&E. And as part of that, some of the shows were hosted with a little introduction by Samuel L. Jackson. That is the version that is here. So it has a little advertisement for the biography show and the magazine, and then an introduction from Star Wars Week from Samuel L. Jackson. Then it leads into the actual episode itself. So weirdly, it is kind of like a rerun type of recording here that you could actually buy straight from A&E. The host and interviewer, at least for Lucas, is Harry Smith, journalist Harry Smith. As for the interviews included, boy, there's a lot. You have Lucas himself, of course, but also Harrison Ford, Carrie Fisher, Ron Howard, Steven Spielberg, Francis Ford Coppola, James Cameron, Frank Marshall, Bill Moyers, Dennis Muren, Ben Burt, Liam Neeson, Amanda and Katie Lucas, his daughters, Randall Kleiser, his college roommate at USC, who also worked on Freiheit with him, Walter Murch, college friend, editor, co-writer of THX 1138, Haskell Wexler, a cinematographer from American Graffiti, Candy Clark, an actress from American Graffiti and Radioland Murders, Jane Bay, his executive assistant, Tom Mulaney from Lucas Digital, who's a board member, Kate Lucas Nygaard, if I'm saying that correctly, his sister, George Frankenstein and John Plummer, childhood friends, Dorothy Elliott, his second grade teacher, Peter Travers of Rolling Stone, and Robert Osborne of The Hollywood reporter. So it's really the story of his life. It doesn't dwell as much on the wreck as many of them do. It's very much sort of the trials and tribulations of kind of his youth, what he used to enjoy doing before. Like usually that's what we hear. Oh, he was into cars and here's who his dad was. And then here's this changing moment and now he's in film school, etc., etc. This one actually goes into a bit more about his childhood, which I thought was pretty impressive. Talking about his mom's illnesses, the person also helped to raise them, and so on. As for the Star Wars part is mostly stuff that we have seen and heard before. Like there's the Mike was in picture, the Mike was in picture outtake that we've seen a million times. I do find it interesting that Marsha Lucas is not interviewed at all. She winds up speaking out in Star Wars Icons Unearthed. But not here. She is discussed, though, in terms of the relationship, her contribution to A New Hope. It notes her, from his side of the story, I guess, falling for somebody else, being unhappy because it wasn't really meeting her needs, and how she got half in the divorce, and that was a financial hit that they had to recover from, that Lucas and his company had to recover from, and how he kind of went into a 7-year tailspin, according to this. It talks about, and this is something I found pretty interesting, it talks about the adoption of Amanda, his daughter Amanda, and how it changed him. And that was interesting to me because you see, kind of and he adopted kids and is focusing on the kids. That comes up in a lot of biographies of Lucas, but this really takes the time to dwell on that for a little bit. And speaking as someone who is a parent now, I would have told you 10 years ago that all that stuff about, having a kid's gonna change your life. They become the focus of your world. It's never going to be the same, and the time when they're young is going to feel like it's going by so fast. I would have told you all that stuff was just bullshit that people said to make parents feel special, and they were like platitudes that you would say, or they were like, what's the wrong one? Just like common wisdom type things that maybe weren't actually real. They were just the things people said. And then I became a parent myself. And yeah, it completely changes your life. It changes your priorities and your perspective. And yes, the time goes by very quickly. I know that I have changed since having our son. And I have to say that hearing about how Lucas himself becoming a father through adoption and how it changed him, I feel like I better understand some of the choices he made at the time, because I feel like that's a choice or a set of choices that I would like to think I would have made. Stepping back from all the stuff that was dominating things to focus on the children eventually once he has multiple. Let's see. Raiders of the Lost Ark gets a brief focus, and there's mention of Temple of Doom and Last Crusade, but not a lot of details. Interesting, they do note that Lucas and Spielberg both have an interest in doing a fourth, which wouldn't happen until Kingdom of the Crystal Skull in 2008. They talk a little bit about the George Lucas Educational Foundation, also known as Edutopia, though Edutopia, actually the whole organization isn't mentioned, just talks about his focus on it. We see when Katie is adopted, when Jet is adopted, and his family focus, how he briefly dated Linda Ronstadt, but at this point he is not remarried. There's a brief mention of the special editions, and ironically, the one scene they really show to kind of focus on, hey look, the special editions, this is what he's done recently. It's showing friggin' Jedi rocks as the great showcase moment. They do spend a few minutes on the production of The Phantom Menace, how there was a mixed critical reception. They mention a very small amount about the work being done on Attack of the Clones and how Jet and Katie will have cameos and how it is a film-free production in terms of how it's being made, but that's basically where things end. So basically Lucas's life up through pre-Star Wars, Star Wars era, original trilogy era, the gap where he's pushing the technology forward, but not necessarily doing things with it himself as much, getting towards the special editions, and then the very beginnings of the prequels with the first film out and the second underway at that point. I feel like saying this doesn't do it justice because I'm trying to summarize this very quickly just from my notes. But if you're looking for a good biography of George Lucas in video fashion, and you want to focus on this chunk of his life, because obviously it doesn't go beyond that era. Again, biography, it is called biography and simply known as biography. When you say biography, people know what it is and what you're talking about and the respect that there is for it. There's a reason for that. Biography is one of the absolute best I have ever seen on Lucas himself. So again, you can find this out there as a basically, I guess, what a print-on-demand type of thing that came through the A&E home video outlet itself. Or, of course, as I mentioned, this is another one that you can simply look up on YouTube and the entire thing is there. I personally think it is worth a watch. Whether you are into the Star Wars side of it or just Lucas in general, I think both are worth it because there's a lot of behind the scenes of Star Wars that interweaves with the behind the scenes of his life, and it's a story that's not told nearly as well as this most of the time. With that, we'll wrap up this episode. Thank you for watching, and may the Force be with the home video viewers.